Welcome back to Seriously Funny. I'm your host, Mashnor Kabir, and my best friend is Demon. Honestly, I forgot I had to record a podcast until this morning when I was in the shower, and I also realized I forgot to write a blog post yesterday because I usually do that on Saturdays. So today might be a little busy, but it'd be like that sometimes. Anyways, with that, if today's episode the topics seem a little rushed or not fully fleshed out, that's probably because they aren't. So yeah, there's a disclaimer. So the first thing I do want to talk about then is F Love Savage, or F Love the Deluxe Edition from the Kid LAROI, the album. When F Love first came out a few months ago, I think album of the year. All right, that album of the year, F Love. And so about Kid LAROI did, or the Kid LAROI, if you're looking him up, he's a top five artist. That's how I feel after I listened to this deluxe edition of this album, his first one, dude. F Love again, album of the year already, and with this deluxe version, dude, he killed it. He killed any competition for album of the year. I'm just saying, they're gone. They have lost. Okay, LAROI just has a way with music, dude. It's crazy. And so it's like you listen to it, right? You listen to LAROI's music, the albums, the singles, whatever it is, and you think, all right, nice. It's okay. It's good. And then you play it again. And then you play it again. And then you find it just on repeat. You find yourself listening to it on and on and on and on again. It swallows you. It engulfs you. You become a part of it. All right, it just enslaves you. You just become encapsulated. You can't play anything else for a while. It's quite the time. That's just how LAROI gets you. The music just grows on you, and just I don't know how to continue that analogy because I feel like it'll get really weird. So we'll leave it there. But yeah, it just grows on you, and it's insane. And the reason I think that like this is the album of the year, like the biggest reason, other than that it's incredible, is the replayability. Sometimes you want to listen to music, but you don't know what you want to listen to. If you put LAROI on during that time, like you'll be satisfied. You can put him on, you can put any of LAROI's music on whenever, and it just works. Like it's good, and it's always able to be played again. I've like F Love, I've played through like all the dry months I've had in music for this year. After F Love came out, like I just put F Love on because I knew that it would hit, I knew it would work, I knew it would just be there for me. The replayability that LAROI has is just insane, dude. And I highly, highly recommend listening to LAROI's new kind of album. I guess it's just the deluxe edition. But I mean, the talent on this man is incredible, dude. Watch him. He's new, he's up and coming, and I think he's gonna explode so much more than he already has. Yeah, go stream that deluxe edition. F Love Savage. That's what it's called, in parentheses, the Savage. Yeah, awesome album, incredible album. The seven songs he added on there is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. What are the look at the names. So my favorite off of that little deluxe bit that he released. It's so hard to pick a favorite. Always Do is really good, and Without You is amazing. And then Pikachu Tragic, Feel Something, F You Goodbye with Machine Gun Kelly. All of them. Amazing. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, go listen to that album. Really awesome. The next thing to speak on is talking about the things you do. And so we've probably heard about this concept, you know? Don't talk about it, do it. Don't tell people about the things you're going to do. And I agree with that, fairly. Shut your effing face hole. Don't talk about I'm going to, I'm gonna, etc., etc. Go do the thing. Just go do it. If you haven't done it yet, don't talk about it yet. And if you are going to, just give the big old disclaimer, it may not happen. And be honest, like for me, I'll say things and say there's a chance that this is going to happen. I'm not sure yet. Just what's in my head. And I'll only tell that to specific people. But if I'm going to do something, I don't talk about it. Like the blog, when I started that, when that happened, I didn't tell anyone I was going to do a blog. Granted, I also didn't know I was going to do a blog. I had no idea that was going to happen. I had no idea that was in my future. I had no idea that was what I was going to be doing for, well, it's been 4 years. I didn't know that that would be happening, but it did. It just ended up happening. So now I have a blog. Pretty cool, huh? But that gets on to this thing. What happens after you've done the thing or after you've started the thing? If it's a creation type thing. So like you're making a podcast, you're making a blog, you started a YouTube channel on whatever, you posted a few videos, one video, you made an Instagram account for whatever it may be, and you started putting stuff on there. So what happens if you start? Like you have done it. Not now like can you talk about it then? And what I found is that after you've done the thing, it's really weird, awkward, and it's not comfortable to talk about. It's so fun and great to talk about. I'm gonna XYZ. I'm gonna whatever, whatever, whatever. But then after you do it, why does it really does become challenging to say I have done X, Y, and Z. And not even just because of like humbleness, rather this sense of I don't know, man. I don't know where it comes from. Maybe fear of judgment, maybe this, maybe that. I don't know. But last night, I thought about this last night. I was talking to someone who also started their own thing on Instagram and YouTube, and they were kind of shy when I brought it up. And I immediately understood their reaction. Like, I get it. I was there. When I started the blog, one part of me was like, I got to talk about it because I want people to read it. I wonder if the sneezing is picked up. I'm recording this at like 11, so everyone in my household is awake now. I usually record at like 9, but again, I had to write everything for this podcast, and I woke up a little bit later. I woke up at 6 I woke up at 5, and then I think I like passed out again on accident. It'd be like that sometimes. Late start to the day, never fun, but it happens. Yesterday night for me, I guess, Biden won the election. So that was also a time. Let's talk about that sorry to interject on this right now, but just so voting happens. I voted a while ago. I'm 18. I voted early. But then Tuesday happens last week. And so on Wednesday morning, I wake up and I Google who's the president. I think we're going to get it. And for some reason, there's no answer. I'm like, what the frick is this crap? Where's the answer? And so later, I asked someone, where's the results exactly? And they were like, it's going to take a few days. I'm like, what does that mean? What the heck does that mean? And then it ended up taking like 4 or 5 more days. What are we doing, dude? Crap, man. That was awkward. Anyways, great interjection, great digression. Biden won the presidency if you didn't know. And if you didn't know, that means you either don't live in America and you don't care. That said, for some reason, everyone knows about American politics. I don't know why you want to keep track of this, but if you do, great for you. You're probably keeping track than more Americans. Anyways, to get back to what we were saying. But yeah, I realized something, after talking to this person about whatever, because like when I started my podcast, when I made my podcast, telling people, hey, like so after the first episode was out, telling people, hey, I have a podcast, you should listen to it. Or not even you should listen to it. Just saying, yeah, I run a podcast. It was weird, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to talk about it, and I thought there was always time for me to bring it up. But then I was like, nah, I can't do that. And I don't know why. So for me, I'm not afraid of being judged, because like, F that, dude. Fear of judgment, no, judge me. Tell me it sucks. Tell me what's bad about it so I know what to do better. I love that. I'm okay with that. And I think it's constructive for me. I love that. But yeah, it was uncomfortable for a while. And I had to realize something. And I realize this really often with so many different things in life. But I remembered, it doesn't matter at all. Nothing matters. None of this means anything. What the heck? Chill, man. Chill. And so, I did what I did. If I made it, I should be proud of it. Whatever. F everything else. None of it matters. F the fear of judgment. None of it matters. And after I realized that, I started talking a lot more about my podcast and my blog. And, I can say pretty often now, I run a podcast. And I say that in my Zoom classes for college, because Zoom classes. But yeah, in my Zoom classes, in chat, like when the opportunity presents itself, I run a podcast. So one reason a lot of people listen to this is because they like my voice. And admittedly, I don't know how arrogant this is, but I have a pretty great voice. it's quite amazing. And listening to it through the playback and through I listen to my podcast pretty often. I actually like listen to them myself. Man, I really got a great voice, man. I'm just saying. Again, maybe arrogant, but great voice. So a lot of people actually like when I speak in my classes. Sometimes people have said, "Hey, Mashner, you should start a podcast. You have such a soothing voice." In college, I talk like this. I talk very slowly and concisely and calmly, and people really like it. And so people, as a joke, will write, "Mashner, you should start a podcast." And at first, I would laugh at that, right? Haha. But then I started realizing, why don't I say, yeah, I do run a podcast. Actually, fun fact, crazy. And so I started doing that and I started talking about it. And to one extent, maybe it makes me out to be some conceited, arrogant a-hole talking about, oh, I run a blog, I run a podcast, like every other effing sentence. I don't think I do it every other sentence. But honestly, I did it to get myself comfortable with it, to get myself comfortable with the fact that I can say these things because I do these things. And maybe I say I did do those things because now I'm okay with it. Now I'm pretty comfortable and chill and vibing, telling people, yeah, I run a blog and a podcast because I think I'm making something pretty okay actually. The podcast is weird with the time. So podcasts are long form versions of content, and I'm only running 20 minutes, and some people do run 20 minutes, but I'm running 20 consistently. So maybe I'll bump it up to 30 or something. I don't know, man. The time I spend speaking for the podcast is quite interesting, and so yeah, maybe that'll increase as I continue to expand some things I'm doing, which we'll talk about in a second. So maybe now, since I am comfortable and I still talk about it, maybe now I am just a conceited a hole. Don't know. Very possible. It'd be like that. Sometimes it happens. I think that's fine. Being a conceited a hole has its place. So, what I want to tell people that have started something, done something, whether that be a YouTube channel or something about makeup, whether that be an Instagram account for your art, whether that be a blog and a podcast, if you do it because you just like want to do it because you want it to be an archive, maybe you draw or something because you just like, oh, I like this, cool, and I don't want to, I just want to put it somewhere so I can come back to it. And maybe in that case, it's not something you need to talk about or want to talk about, like whatever. If someone sees it, cool, but like I don't care. But if you do something for another reason, so for example, me, like the reason I write and the reason I record these, to one extent, sure, I get to get it out of my head, but honestly, I can do that with a pen and a paper. Like the stuff I need to get out of my head usually comes out of my head through my hand into pen and paper. But the reason I put this out and the reason I disseminate all these things is because I want to connect with people. I want to get engagement and interaction with people. And so, I do have to talk about this blog and the podcast. The point is for people to see it and then, leave feedback on it or begin a conversation with it because that's what I want this to be. That's the reason I put things out. And so, I do need to speak on it. Like I am doing it. I have done it. So for that reason, it does need to be something I spread and I encourage people to listen to. And especially now, it's been what? This is my 24th episode. I think I've definitely improved from the beginning, which is cool and great. I think in one podcast episode, I talked about I wonder why people edit their podcasts. I usually just record it and post it, and now I actually do edit them. I apply some things to the audio, and then I have to look at it, and then I have to go back. I have to cut a lot out because fun fact, I mess up a lot in the recordings, and I just restate whatever the thing I like messed up on. So that's really fun. But anyways, if you do make something to spread it for other people and you create not just for yourself, but for other people, then you talk about it without remorse. Talk about it. Tell people, get it out there, and say, whatever, I might suck, but I'm gonna get better, and all of them can watch me get better. So everyone tell them. And this is easier said than done, but if I can do it, you can do it. Granted, I have a lot of experience about being different, being weird, being strange, and I've had so much experience with being ostracized that maybe I'm just better at it, but I think anyone can do it. I'm not think I know everyone can do it. And so if you do make stuff and you do put it out there, don't be afraid to tell people that, you know? And if someone comes to you and says, "Hey, this sucks." Great. You know, ask them why. Why does it suck? And maybe they just hate your face, which if that's the case, you got to look at them and say, I don't know what to tell you, unfortunately. Yeah. But you should still watch so I can make bands. Maybe, yeah, definitely say the last part. That's probably the most important part. But yeah, if someone hates you because they hate you, just because you exist, not much to do about it. But usually people have a reason. Ask for that reason. I think anyone that says, I'm just going to put on the shades and ignore the haters are ignorant, young, stupid, and haters to the haters. Come on, man. Don't be a hypocrite. That's coming from a hypocrite. So don't know how credible that is. But yeah, speaking about starting things and doing things, future YouTube channel question mark. So as I said, podcasts might become more longer form, and as I said, I might be expanding. I might be making a YouTube channel. I know that goes against what I just said about don't talk about it unless you've done it so far. So this is I'm going to, and maybe I won't. We'll see. So there's my disclaimer there. But there is a chance, and I do have ideas in my head, just like small ones, really just two. But yeah, I don't have a long-term plan, so I don't know how it'll air out and how long I'll be doing it or if it'll be a consistent thing. But I do anticipate at the moment to make a YouTube channel. And the first video will probably be on the dopamine detox I was talking about, I think, last episode that I'm going to be taking in 2 weeks or so. I looked into dopamine detoxes and they're really interesting. I can't seem to find like, there's a lot of psychologists that say it's cool to do, and then it's really controversial to put simply. Not that like it's like bad for you. It's just like some people say it's cool and great, and other people say useless. So, you know, that's going to be interesting. And I think I'm definitely going to discuss that and talk about that in the podcast whenever I do that. And if I do make a YouTube video on it in that video. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, that's going to be really interesting. To one extent, regardless of the science, I think it'll just be really interesting experience for me. I've done nothing for 1 day before, but now I have to do it for 9 or 10. So that's going to be really fun and interesting. And I think I'm going to read a lot. I think I'm going to let myself read. But other than that, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to see what happens there. We're going to figure out why. But yeah, I will speak on the reasons I'm doing that, though, the dopamine detox. Uh, I'm doing because my brain it just feels fried. My ability to focus has decreased quite substantially, and I've noticed that. I always have a YouTube tab open. Even as I was writing the outline for this podcast, I had a YouTube video open. My brain is always being fed something. I can't just keep my brain on one thing. There's always something else there. There's always something filling up the space and something always constantly there, something always constantly playing, and I like that. My brain is kind of what my life, runs out of. Crazy, I know, right? Who'd have thought that your brain controls the things you do? No one would have guessed, huh? And I think I messed up the organ, okay? Thankfully, though, shout out to God, you can repair said organ. Uh, but like when you break your phone and you got to send it away and live without the phone for a while, I want to fix my brain again, which is repairable. And to do that, you got to suffer for a few days without it. So yeah, and the way of suffering is by doing nothing. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, some people may be wondering what the heck a dopamine detox even is. What does that mean at all? It sounds like some hippy dippy dumb stuff. And again, maybe it is hippy dippy dumb stuff. We will talk about that whenever we get there. But hopefully, maybe it'll be useful to some people that do want to do it or interested in doing it or are just interested in the topic. One of the psychiatrists I trust and believe in said it would take about 2 weeks. I only have 9 days, so I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting, and I think it'll just be fun for in general for me with the whole discipline thing I like doing. But yeah, hopefully it'll be more useful than the battery rant from last episode, which was a great rant again. Great stuff. Love my battery rants. But yeah, I think this episode is going to turn out to be really short. So right now it's 21 minutes. However, after cutting all the dumb stuff out and the weird noises my throat likes to make for some reason sometimes, I don't know what's going to happen. We might end up at 19. We'll see. But yeah, with that, I'm going to be concluding this episode. Thank you very much for listening. Hopefully, it didn't feel too rushed. Please subscribe and share this podcast wherever you are listening, and I will see you next week.